Okay, bro. So UFC 278, Marty from Nebraska versus squeaky voice Leon Edwards, bro. Not so excited about this fight, but it's still a matchup that everyone's been waiting for a while. What are your thoughts, man?
I feel like once Leon gets in the cage there, then we can sort of start looking forward to it, because he's been one of the most like unlucky fighters in like recent memory, because like he was meant to fight Woodley, COVID stuff happened, he was meant to fight Shemaev, stuff happened there. Like he's just had a really like unfortunate run with trying to get to where he should be. But I think the way Leon's been looking lately, it can pose a few new challengers to Usman. So I'm interested to see how it's going to play out. And it's going to sort of see, because if Usman gets through Leon, there's obviously talk about him going up to 205. So I feel like he might be overlooking Edwards a bit, because I think this version of Edwards is probably one of the most dangerous matchups he can face at the moment.
Yeah, man, he's slick. Like, there's no doubting he's a slick stand-up fighter, but I kind of see it playing out in a way like their first fight. Did you watch their first one? Just dominant wrestling by Marty from Nebraska.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know, he just took him out, right? Like, and the thing is, Kamaru, out of the two, you would say Kamaru's obviously been more active, and his stand-up is improving in leaps and bounds. Whereas, I don't know, Edwards still seems like a slick sort of guy. His wrestling looks okay, and like, but his game is like a similar game in a way to what Kamaru does, like pressing guys against the cage and whatever. And Kamaru does it better. So I can't really see him winning, other than like sneaking in a decent head kick or something and hurting Kamaru. But I think it'll probably go the other way. Yeah, what do you think about their wrestling skills, bro, matching up against each other? Because Kamaru said they're going to wrestle. Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly think Edwards' defensive wrestling has improved a lot since the first fight. I don't think he has the wrestling ability to use offensive wrestling against Usman. I just don't think it's going to work for him. I think his wrestling, if he's purely focusing on his defense, he should be able to use his defense to expose some holes in Usman's attacks and start looking for opportunities of that. Because say if they're up against the fence, if he can turn him and start to look to strike off that, start to look for sneaky elbows, knees, and start to really make it more of like an MMA style of wrestling, instead of like a purely sort of like more of a groundy sort of holdy style. If he can add in some strikes, get some range between them, even just little short ones where he can pop knees in, constantly keep Usman working so he can't establish a proper takedown threat, I think we could say that play out in Leon's favor. But then again, like, Usman has looked so dominant against everyone he's grabbed, and look at the size of him, like he's a freak of nature.
And he hits hard too these days, right? Like, his jab is getting stronger, you know, he's moving nicer, he's switch hitting, you know. I don't know, man. I see, like, you see Edwards fighting Diaz, and he looked great. Diaz is like a little bit past his prime, you'd say, and he nearly knocked him out in the 5th round as well. So you got to think the power of Usman, like, hitting with power now, you know, even though he's not as slick and fast, he hits with power. And if he hits him again later in the fight, you got to think, compared to a Diaz shot, he's probably gonna, you know, knock him out, I reckon. Anyway, he's getting stronger. Look at him, he's pretty much flatline Masvidal. He's doing pretty well. So
yeah, his striking ability has definitely improved. And he has a lot more faith in his striking. But I wonder if that can be a little bit of a downfall here, because on the feet, I do think Edwards probably is a little bit cleaner, a bit more tidier on the feet, where I think if he has a path to victory, I think he's going to be able to keep it standing. And if Usman wants to sort of be like, all right, I think I can hang with this guy on the feet, and I want to trade with him, see how it go, I think it's going to favour more into Edwards. But if Usman starts looking for like the wrestling with clinches and everything like that, I think it's going to make it a tough night in the office for Edwards.
Yeah, Edwards has said that Usman's fallen in love with his striking, which is what people do. But he's been around for long enough that it's okay, right? He's been developing those skills. So, yeah. I know. What do you think, man? What's your final pick? What would you put the house on for this one?
Man, I'm not going to lie. I'm a big Leon Edwards fan. Like, I met him in Vegas, and I honestly, like, this was a while ago. It was a night Volker beat Holloway. And he gave me time, had like a good 10-minute chat to him just about everything. And I was like, man, after I had like so much respect for him. So probably a bit of bias there. I'm going to back him. I'm going to go I want Edwards by decision. I think he can use his striking in the later rounds. If his defensive wrestling is up to par, I think he can win enough exchanges on the feet to win rounds that way. And he only needs to really bank 3 good rounds against Usman, and that can be a path to victory for him. So I'm thinking Edwards by decision. Be upset.
Yeah, man. I think Edwards. Well, I heard someone mention in one of their analysis about kicking his legs, like kicking Usman's legs because he's got skinny little legs, like calf kicks, etc. So that's where I think he has a chance, and he's still got a chance. Everyone at that division at that sort of level is going to have the ability to KO him. But I just think I'm going to stick with the safe bet for me.
Usman by a point. Safe bet.
they're all like they're hitting so many decisions, man. They've both got 10 decisions versus like their KOs their KO ratio is quite a bit less. She got 9 now for Usman. That's not too bad, I guess. But yeah, I'm picking decision for Usman just by control, and landing some solid punches as well. I wouldn't be that surprised, to be honest, if Usman tied him out and landed a decent KO straight punch, because that's what he's been hitting people pretty hard with. But yeah, I'm thinking points decision to Usman. Now, bro, then the next fight that we want to have a chat around is Costa versus Rockhold. And I think this is a very interesting matchup. To be honest, I'm much more interested in this fight than the main event, just because of their characters, right? Like Costa's a clown. Rockhold's kind of weird, man. If you listen to any of his interviews, he's just like a bit of a spinner, man, And actually,
taking mushrooms and getting stoned every day now.
It's like mushrooms every day. I told you he's fucking strange, bro. And I watched that documentary, Bisping documentary. Have you watched that one?
No, I haven't.
Have a look, man, because someone was telling me it was good, and I put it off because, like, we all know Bisping's story. Like, it's not like an amazing story that we don't know what happened, So I wasn't really keen to watch it, but I watched it yesterday, and it's a good documentary. It pumps you up a bit. It gives you a bit more respect for him, like what he's been through and everything. And but Rockhold's on there in their interviews in their fighter face-offs and stuff before their fight. And he's a different man. He's like normal. He looks normal. He acts normal. He's very different than the man he is now. So I'm just thinking, like, what's that from? Is that from like CTE? Is it from these magic mushrooms? Is it from what alcohol? Because he mentioned an addiction to alcohol, I think. I think he's fucked himself up somehow, bro. And he's talking about, sounds like he microdoses mushrooms like regularly, like every day or something.
Every day.
I think he's frying his own head or something, because he's a different person. He seems very, very, very different, man. And I don't know, is he going to hold up? Like, he hasn't been fighting for so long, and he still thinks he's like the same position he was before. What do you reckon, man?
Yeah, like Luke was always a very like socially like awkward guy. Even like at press conferences and like stuff, he was always like awkward. He wouldn't really be like, he wasn't like super charismatic. He would just like sort of stick to himself and didn't really want to like say too much, put himself out there. But yeah, like I watched the submission radio one, and it was legit him walking around his house for like 40 minutes and talking about like how he's like doing these shrooms, going for runs, like smoking. There's nothing wrong with that, but he's like, to see his character change and how it's like affected by it is a little bit concerning. And I was just looking there, and he's like you said, with CTE and stuff like that, who knows? But like, he's got 4 bad knockout losses, like the belt tour, head kick, Bisping's KO, then Romero and Blachowicz. Like, they're both big guys, like all of them big guys, big heavy hits, and they all put him out to sleep cold. So who knows if it's like a combination of all of that. But yeah, and plus some of the stuff we're saying, like how he reckons he can come back and challenge Izzy and stuff, like, it's almost like he's a bit delusional at this point, I think.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's no doubting he's a very skillful mixed martial artist, right? Like, he's got everything. And but he's definitely been chinny, and he's coming up against Costa's like a beast, man. He's just a beast, even though he's an idiot in some ways, a bit stupid. If you watch him against Vettori, man, the way he hit him with those right kicks and the way he hit him with some right crosses and that, he hits very hard. And I think if Costa can get his hands on him, I think he's going to drop Rockhold too. And Rockhold's path to victory potentially is not standing and trading with him too much, because I think he might get himself in trouble. Like, he's going to turn it into a wrestling match. I think he's got more of a chance, because if he fights him like one-on-one, let's just smash each other, I think he's going to come off worse.
I think Rockhold's advantages. Rockhold is a solid grappler, so I think his advantage is definitely on the grappling. and I think he sort of fell in love with his strike. Don't get me wrong, he does have good striking, but sometimes he almost admires his shots where he'll like throw a big head kick, then he'll sort of sit and sort of like, yeah, like take a photo of it sort of thing if he does something good at that. And that can get you caught against Costa. And Costa loves his forward pressure. Costa has nasty body kicks, and I can see Costa throwing body kicks. Rockhold starting like overcommit to block the body kicks, and Costa coming over the top with a big right hand or a big left hook, because that's what we've seen. We've seen Rockhold's chin foul him, and obviously not really foul him, but we've seen that's like the main flaw he has, where if he gets cracked, he can't really handle himself too well. Costa cracks hard, and Rockhold's, he's not super hittable, but he is a bit hittable, and you don't want to be hittable with a guy against Paulo. So I think Rockhold's definitely going to have to look to force her grappling, but Costa's also got pretty solid takedown defense. So it's going to be I think it's going to be a hard matchup for Rockhold, to be honest. I'm surprised he took it.
Yeah, bro. So what are you betting the house on in this one?
I think Costa KOs are pretty. Who knows? This might be Luke Rockhold might come out looking like he's in the Matrix and he's unlocked a secret to his brain with all these drugs, and we can all look like fools, and he's going to be the next superstar. But I don't think that's going to happen, and I think Costa's probably going to crack KO him if Costa makes weight, because I don't even know. Like, is this at 85?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it depends what Costa shows up there, because Costa might get drunk. Like, imagine you got a drunk Costa and a stoned Rockhold fight for 15 minutes. Like, who the fuck knows what's going to happen with that one?
Yeah, Rockhold smashing mushrooms and like
mushrooms on the way out.
Levitates out to the ring, levitates and just fucking like, I don't know, goes to another dimension, Matrix. Yeah, that's funny, man. I got Costa. I think he comes out, smashes Rockhold's arms. Rockhold's arms are hanging down like broken. Both forearms are broken, and then he just gets iced. That's what I see happening. I'm saying KO for Costa. Costa's a bit of a Gronk, I don't know, but he hits hard and he's pretty strong chin as well. He's a black belt as well, but he doesn't really seem like a legit black belt. I don't know. When you watch him, he doesn't seem like a real high level legit black belt. So that's his Rockhold's avenue to victory is grappling and submission, but I don't see him getting it done. I just think Costa's more relevant these days. He's been fighting more and he's hitting hard, kicking hard. So it's not too good if you're chinny. That's my bet.